Hello, welcome to another cup of tea. Gonzo, it doesn't feel like it's been long since we did the last one, but a lot has happened.
It has, and you've got a cup of tea. I haven't got a cup of tea. You'd have to excuse me if we have a mild interruption halfway through. A cup of tea is going to be delivered to me in about 15 minutes. But yes, a lot of water's passed under the bridge.
Mild interruption. Well, some might describe the way end as that, but I think some might describe it as a slightly bigger interruption than that.
I wish they wish it was a mild interruption. Yeah.
Well, it's quite obvious what we're here to talk about tonight. The game has been and gone. We're here to talk about what was being sung and our thoughts on it and the bigger picture, if you like, of what the point of the protests are. First of all, just going to ask you straight, are you bored in or bored out?
Bored in or bored out? I think it's time to go. I mean, really. Having said that, I can't see a viable alternative there at the moment. I can't see anyone queuing up to take us on. I think as with anything, would be in any business, you've got to sell from a position of strength, and the time probably to sell has almost gone. I don't think they're in a strong position to sell. I think you could get a very, very derisory offer coming for the club, and it's not really what they were looking for when they moved to the new stadium. So, yeah, I mean, I do think it's time to go, I've got to say. But I think it will happen? No. Yeah, that's it.
Sunday, the chants went up in the away end, various songs. What's your thoughts on them?
Well, I agree with the sentiment, but I don't like the lyrics, I've got to say.
See, I'm going to butt in here. I'm the opposite. I don't mind it. I've seen a lot of people say, oh, you can't sack the board. To me, they sing sack the board, but I don't hear sack the board. I hear.
I'm not talking about that.
I hear fans.
I'm not talking about sack the board.
What are you talking about then?
I'm talking about they sang you destroyed our fucking club. See, I would have gone with our lovely club, right? Or our darling club, or our smashing club, or something like that. Fucking club makes it sound nasty. So I like the sentiment, but I don't like the lyrics, you know?
Well, I thought you were talking about the sack. I see a lot of people are complaining about the sack the board one.
I think people know that. I think people know they can't sack the board. They just mean bored out, really, don't they? I mean, the chant they really should be singing is bored out, bored out, bored out. But anyway, you know, that is what it is. It doesn't matter what the words are. People on the terraces have had enough. That was as simple as that.
You agree with them?
As each individual person, mate, I can't stand around and say, do I agree with them? I agree with it. I totally understand their frustrations. I agree with their frustrations. I don't agree with sack the board. I just don't think you can sack the board anyway because they own it. But the actual sentiment of we were promised this and it's not happened, we want you gone, I totally agree with.
I have to agree as well. I think I've got far more respect for people that stand up for what they believe in and speak up, etc. And if they want them gone, they pay thousands of pounds a year to follow West Ham. And this isn't a knee-jerk reaction. This has been bubbling away for... I remember talking to you about this about a year ago. So it's been bubbling away for a year, but it's only just started to gain momentum and really come to its peak so far, if you like. It's the voice is getting louder, the numbers are getting bigger, the army, if you like, is getting stronger. I think they're clearly getting rattled a little bit. I do think the board are starting to feel a little bit of pressure and hot under the collar, and rightly so. I mean, at Wembley, we beat Spurs 3-2. That was when the first chance came up, and Sullivan was, TV like he had a face like a slapped arse. We just beat Spurs 3-2, and he honestly looked pissed off that we'd won. Yeah. I've seen a lot of critics, including David Moyes, has sort of said to the players, it's hard when the fans are like that. Well, greatest respect. I'm pretty sure if you turned up and put in a decent performance, I think the chance would have lessened a little bit and the support would have probably gone up. Who knows? It's all hypothetical. But I've got a lot of respect for the fans for standing up for what they believe in.
Well, I just think there's lots of people have put it quite eloquently and far better than I can. But I think to sum it up, I think it's the whole package of the move has really killed it, because the whole point is there's lots of detail. See, the trouble is now it's all being broken down into fine detail, and you've got West Ham fans turning on West Ham fans as well. There's quite a lot of rows going on. That's one thing I absolutely hate, which is why I'm trying to just take a little bit more of a balanced tone on the whole thing. But I think if you were to put it into a nutshell, we moved from our spiritual home and our historical home, and whilst some people didn't want to move, some bought into it on the premise that it would allow us to become a better club, if you like. You know, not more of a community club, maybe. I think people accepted that. I think there's a lot of things that would have accepted, but we were going to challenge, and we've fallen further back. And I think that is the thing. I think everybody, and now everyone's picking, and this one I say small detail. So everyone's picking up on Karen Brady's video where she's talking about the stadium move and what it'll bring and how she understands about the West Ham fans. So people will take a snippet of that video and use it. There's the one with David Goals walking along the touchline at Upton Park. He's saying the seats will be no further away than this. Otherwise, I think he said something like, we just won't do it. And everyone's picking up on that small detail. And so everyone's just frustrated, saying, hold on, you said this. You said the seats were going to be closer. You said we're going to be in 5 years competing for Champions League. You said this would allow us to compete with Tottenham and Man United and teams that are up in the Champions League places. And actually, we can't really compete with Brighton and Birmingham. What's that, Birmingham? You know, Brighton and Watford and clubs like that. And those are people's frustrations. And that is why people are saying, you've lied to us. You promised us this. It has not been delivered. And so what can you say? What can you say? It's not for anyone else to tell anyone else what to think. Everyone can make up their own minds.
The thing is, all this talk of Champions League and next level came from them. It wasn't the fans that said it. It was them that said it. It was them that's mentioned Champions. Fans have never mentioned. Well, we obviously mentioned it because they've mentioned it. But originally it came from them. Oh, yeah, we could compete in the Champions League in so many years. We can do this. We can do that. And it's just bollocks, to be honest with you. It's just complete bollocks. And I think most fans now are quite level-headed to say we're a million miles away from competing in top six. We can't get into that upper echelon. We just can't do it. But for some reason, it's them that says Champions League, this, that. But to give this show a little bit of structure, other than us just sitting here and picking things and picking them apart, in 2010, when the owners took over in January, so almost 8 years ago, they came up with a 10-point pledge. The fans said, this is our 10 points, what we're going to do at West Ham United. So 8 years on, so I'm going to read out the 10 points to Gonzo. Myself and Charlie are going to be doing a video which is purely on the 10 points, nothing to do with opinions, which will be out on Thursday, so keep your eyes out for that. But this is going to be about mine and Gonzo's opinions on the 10 points. And we're going to say yes, no, or unsure, undecided yet. Number one, appoint the right manager. Now, these are words from the chairman. Our efforts are focused on recruiting a high-caliber manager with the necessary experience to deliver good football and, most importantly, results. Would you say yes, no, or unsure on that one?
Well, we've had Avram Grant, Sam Allardyce, Slaven Bilic, and David Moyes, who I'm not even going to judge yet. Okay, he's had one game. I just will not do it, so don't pin me on that. No, clearly, if they'd appointed the right manager, we wouldn't have had that many managers. We've had one.
Yeah, I have to agree on that. I mean, a high caliber manager, neither of them fit into a high caliber manager. Experienced, I'll give Allardyce that. Bilic is to an extent. Moyes is, but like I said, you can't judge him. To me, they don't have the. And number one is the title is appoint the right manager. They've clearly not done that, as you said. They've been sacking them, so they've clearly not done it. Number two, sign new players. Sounds easy, but this is you have to then look into the description. For too long, the focus has been on players leaving rather than arriving. We will strengthen in the right areas to ensure an exciting and balanced squad that is well placed to cope with the rigours of our Premier League season. Our main aim will be bringing players that are hungry to do well, who share our ambitions and aspirations.
Well, I don't think you can gauge hunger, so I wouldn't blame them on that. But a balanced squad, it's not. We've not had a balanced squad, I'd suggest, for the whole of tenure. The biggest problem without not selling it. And this is what I say, sometimes we, as fans, we become quite vitriolic and we get angry and we sort of get so angry with each other and everyone else that we can miss the point. And we were so angry calling Dimitri Payet a snake and being disappointed with what he did that it almost passed under the radar. He's probably been our best player the last 20 years. I think even now, even though he's been gone ages, I think his stats, he's still appearing in some stat charts for chances created over the last 2 years in the Premier League. That's how good he was. So lose our best, the focus has been on selling players. Well, I'll tell you what, the one time we managed to secure a world-class player, and he really was. I could only really say that in that season that Mahrez was probably the only better player in the league. I thought Dimitri Payet was the second best player in that whole league that season. And we couldn't keep him. So he's the one player you would have wanted to keep. So regardless of what his attitude was like, I know there's mitigation, but yeah, I would say it's a fail on that point as well.
I have to say that's a good point about Payet. Actually, I wasn't going to mention that, but that's a good point because he's clearly said about the rivals. I was actually sorry about departures. I was going to say they've done well on that front. But you've got a point there. Actually, our one world class player ended up leaving under their ownership. I will also say that they have got the rest of the best, if you like. They've kept the rest of the best, but over the last few months, we've been starting to question if they're actually that good anymore. There's people talking about Chiatti and Crespo, etc. Are they actually that good, or were they just in a little bit of form, blah, blah, blah? But the key word for that, for me, is well, there's three: balanced and exciting. That's the three words for me. Is it balanced? No. We have one right winger, Antonio. We had Faguli last season. You sold him and you didn't replace him. Is it exciting? Take out Lanzini. Arnautovic's just got a little bit about him, but apart from that, we're setting up. I know you could blame the managers, but then this is where they failed on point number one. So, no, it's not exciting players. It's not exciting football, etc. So, no, it's a fail for me on that one as well. Number three, more investments in the academy. Tony Carr remains at the heart of the club, and his work in developing first-team players remains essential for the long-term success of this club. We will make sure homegrown talent nurtured in the West Ham way will always be given the chance to complement established players brought in from elsewhere.
Yeah, sorry, I can't laugh. I've got a cough, but that's only the Tony Carr bit. I actually think they're no, I think the academy's done well. I think they completely overhauled it. Actually, I think it was. I don't think it produced a decent player for years. We'd seen players like Freddie Sears and maybe Julius Stanislas bounce back up again, Zavon Hines, and there's players like that, Izzy Rick Penn, and a load of players who just didn't really make it for us. And I don't think that's the case. I think they've overhauled it. I think to a certain extent they've attracted a lot of the best young talent from some of the other clubs like Declan Rice and Holland and Queener, of course, who came from Chelsea. So no, I think they've done that. I think they can safely say the academy's been overhauled. I think we're sat in third. They've gained promotion to the top division, and we're now sat in third and looking really, really good. It's almost keeping me buoyed actually at the moment. It's quite depressing times at West Ham. The one thing that is a little glimmer of hope. I know we just lost 5-1, but can happen, can't it? I don't think they were training with the first team as well, which didn't help all week. So I don't think Wesley was able to shape the team he wanted. But the one glimmer of hope at West Ham at the moment is the under-23s and the youth set up. So we've got people involved. The English team are doing quite well at younger age groups, and we've got players involved in that. So yeah, that's a thumbs up from me, that one.
A year ago, I would have said a no on this. Today, I'm going to say unsure. It's not a yes for me because only Declan Rice has played in the first team. So I don't see... They've been here 8 years now. That's more than long enough to do the overhaul and then see players in the first team. It clearly says here that they're going to be given the chance to play alongside established players. Apart from Rice, I'm not seeing that chance.
Okay, yeah, no, that bit granted, yeah.
It talks about Tony Carr. Again, that's a bit like the Payet thing. There's circumstances around that, etc., etc. And you could be argued that Wesley's doing a better job than Tony Carr did. So I'll give them that one. But for me, the pathway to the first team is not quite happened yet. But I'm not going to say no because I think it's a TBC. It's a work in progress. It's going in the right direction. However, it's 8 years, still not there yet, but it could get there. So I'm not going to say a yes or no for that one. Number 4, continue to clear the debt. We have a responsibility to ensure this club is never again placed in a perilous position. Great strides have been taken to get us on a sound financial footing, but there's still a long way to go. Difficult decisions have had to be made, and that will continue to be the case. But our bottom line on the bottom line is to ensure the club survives.
Well, I guess the club has survived. The thing is, and the thing that worries everybody is that when they kept on banding this figure around when they came in, we're 100 million in debt. We're 100 million in debt. It's funny you say 8 years. Crikey, the time goes fast. I still sometimes think of them as new owners, but 8 years is a long time. It's still, apparently we're still 100 million in debt. So if after 8 years we're still in the same amount of debt that we were all that time ago, albeit we now owe the debt to the owners rather than to banks, let's be honest, as fans, we don't really care who the debt's owed to. It's not like the banks were calling it anyway. I think actually some Icelandic shares were still in ownership up until 6 weeks ago when the American bought some shares off them. So it's not like Icelandics had called the debt in or anything like that at that point. So as fans, we don't care whether it's, whether it's owed to Iceland, to the Flaming, to Golden Sullivan, or anyone else for that matter. But it's not been paid down. It seems there's still £100 million worth of debt. So if those accounts are correct, then clearly that's not happened.
I do kind of care because if it's owed to them, which is fair enough. But it's the interest on it that bugs me. You can't just whack interest on it and then not take any interest out, so that it just sits and builds up over. And like we said, it's now 8 years. It's been sitting building up over quite a tasty little period now, and they're making money off the back of it. Now, they're businessmen, so don't really mind it. But then this is where they give the whole, well, we're fans, we wouldn't do this. Well, why are you taking interest out of the club then? To me, you can't have it both ways. You can't play the fan card and the businessman card. You've got to play one or the other. And to play it both is a bit like having your cake and eating it. It's sort of like, depends on the situation and how I need to manipulate it. Depends on what card I'm going to play. Getting criticised over my interest, okay, out comes a businessman card. Oh, I'm getting criticised over whatever. Oh, okay, I'll bring out the I'm a fan card. They use whatever it needs to suit them. But as for the debt, the other thing that bugs me is this whole move. We got told we'll be debt free. We still ain't debt free. I know they've now said, okay, 2020, we might be debt free by 2020, but that would then be 10 years since they took over. It's a long time. It's only 10 million a year they've knocked off the debt. It's not that much for a Premier League club. I mean, consider the income, etc. So it's a no from me. It's a no from you. We're going to point 5. Freeze season ticket prices for renewal. This one's a bit of a mixed bag, because obviously they wrote this in 2010, so it would have been easy for them to then go, okay, we'll freeze it for next year. But I suppose we'll have to take ticket prices as a whole, if you like. And as we're delighted to have been able to freeze season ticket prices, but we will not stop there. We're looking at more ways for rewarding those fans who make such a long-term commitment and have excellent offers for younger supporters who are the lifeblood of this club. Member benefits will also improve. Now, until 2 years ago, me and you were Claret members.
Yeah.
Do you feel the members have has improved as stated here?
No, you still get the sort of same sort of pack when you sign up. You get a badge and a voucher for 10% off at the club shop or so. No, I don't feel you get it's not like Santa's hamper, is it? When you sign up for Claret membership, it's a very, very small pack, really, little booklet and stuff. Obviously, got 4 kids, so 3 of them have got that. 1 kid's season ticket, 2 Claret memberships, 1 adult season ticket. So I think we're good customers. No, I don't think the membership has upped in terms of quality or what you receive. Certainly not.
What about ticket prices?
Can't complain at that. I can't complain. I would be. And there's plenty that can, because there's plenty playing a lot more than me. I can't complain at ticket prices. Got a £99 ticket for my child. I think mine, what was it, £4.99? £4.99, I think. And the repayment schemes, I did it on the Never, to be honest. So it's affordable. It's affordable for me.
So are you a yes, unsure, or no for the ticket price thing?
I'm happy enough for the ticket prices. I don't agree with the academy stuff. So I know it's like you're trying to get it all into one point, but it's not as black and white as that. I think the Claret membership's poor. I think the season tickets are cheap. Mine is. I wouldn't want a £1,100 one though.
So what's your answer? I'm doing tallies here. Would you like yes, no, or unsure?
You have to have unsure, because it's split down the middle, isn't it?
Well, I'm not going to say I'm happy with this, because from a selfish point of view, I am. 500 quid for my ticket, happy. But it says here about younger kids. Younger kids are 60 quid to get in to watch us play a Category A game. Arsenal is a Wednesday night next month. December, Wednesday night, school night. Kids have to pay. If a dad wants to take his kid for one game, and this is band 5, it's like 120 quid. That's not excellent offers for younger supporters. That's their words. That's bollocks. That's not affordable football, which is what we were told. But it is if we're playing Burnley at home. It's affordable, but the Category A games make up, I think, 7 games out your 18 home games. That's almost half. They're Category A. It's not cheap. It is cheap for some games, but it's not cheap for them all. And the members thing is just nonsense. I think only 1 away game this season has gone to member sale. The rest has been taken by season ticket holders. So Claret members can't even get away tickets. But we'll come on to that. Actually, I need to write that down, because that's another thing I want to talk about at the end. And, you know, there's only 2,000 seats available for games that are not season tickets. So to me, they're not getting value. 40 quid, this Claret membership thing shouldn't exist. And if it does, it should be 10 quid. And you get added to the waiting list at the same time or something like that. Number 6, this is a fun one. Build the status and image of the club. Our standing at home and abroad is rightly built on our proud history and our commitment to young talent. The values of the Academy of Football developed since the days of Bobby Moore define what we are all about. With the world's spotlight set to shine on this part of London, time is right to spread the word further.
Well, this is easy. This is really easy. You've only got to switch on Sky Sports for an hour or Talk Sport for an hour, and you'll see at the moment we're a laughing stock. There's no internet. There's no standing. We don't have a standing at the moment. We literally are a laughing stock. I would go as far as to say we're possibly the joke of the Premier League at the moment, and everyone's laughing at us.
We're getting mugged off. You know, we've got 8 years of stuff we could go back to. I'm going to go back to the last month of stuff. David Sullivan claimed 95% of fans are happy at the London Stadium. Bullshit, David. Have a look at number 5, which is your ticket prices for a start, and then revisit that figure. And then Karen Beatty said we spent 100 million on players, which is the most outside the top 6. Bullshit, Karen. Please have a look at your figures as well. That's just the last month. We could go back over 8 years. We don't need to. Everyone's watching this is probably agreeing with us in terms of the PR of the club, for example. That's 2 no's from us too. Number 7, make it enjoyable to come and watch. I'm gonna say what they wrote anyway. Although going by the title, I think we've both got an answer already. We want to bring the fun back. Maybe not start with charging kids 60 quid to get in then. But anyway, it is a serious business, but we know you work hard all week and want to kick back at the weekend and enjoy yourselves. We want you to be excited on a match day, not just about the style of football. We're looking at ways to improve our pre-match and half-time entertainment. What is the half-time entertainment?
To be fair, I'm always bursting for a wee and trying to get a beer. So I think apparently there was someone singing it after. Remember we went to thing and I didn't even know it had happened. What's her name?
Pixie Lot.
Pixie Lot. She was sitting there. We didn't even know. I didn't know, but that's not her fault. Crikey.
Makes a change from the opposition scoring a lot.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's my bladder's fault. So it's not her fault. Yeah, I don't know. Listen, entertainment. I'm not bothered about all that. You can throw as many Pixie Lots or pom-poms or dancing flaming hammers or bubbles, the bears, and whatever. You do what you want. You get 20 more bubbles machines. I don't care. I don't care. Entertainment comes from what goes on the pitch. That's it. We make our own pre-match entertainment as fans. We're quite good at that. We always have been. But there've been too many times last season, in particular. And I say last season because it doesn't seem... Crikey, I mean, there was something in there. Do you know what the biggest thing you said that resonated? Sorry, I'm digressing. Was when you said, we know you like to kick back at the weekends. I wish there was more weekend football. You just told me that the Arsenal game is on a Wednesday night. You talk about kids can't afford to go. Kids can't go anyway. It's a school night. There's so little weekend football. I wish it was Saturday on 3:00 and there was more of those games. But anyway, so the point is, I was talking about last season. Last season, there were times when we'd be on the boats before the game. We'd be having a sing-song on the boats, having a beer, having a game of table football, having a sing-song, someone grabbing the mic on a karaoke machine or whatever. And we'd actually think, oh my goodness, we're going to have to go into the stadium now and watch ourselves get thrashed 4-0. Entertainment starts on the pitch and it's in short supply. Bar a few games, it has not been entertaining.
Under their 8-year reign, I'll give them one season. One season, it was exciting. It was genuinely, after the game was finished, you were genuinely buzzing and looking forward to the next game. You were trying to count down the days, how long until you got to see West Ham again. It's become a bit of a chore, to be honest. It's become a bit of a... I know I live a bit away, so I'm a bit different, but even for people that's local, you're sort of having to drag yourself to the bloody game now. You're turning up because you feel like you have to get value out of your season ticket or whatever your reason is, or you want to support the team, etc. But it's becoming more and more of a chore. number 7, which is exciting in that, I agree with you. It starts on the pitch. It ties into 1 and 2, right manager and signed players. You haven't done 1 and 2, right? So number 7 ain't going to happen either. Until you do 1 and 2, don't expect 7 to click into place. But as for this pre-match and halftime entertainment, I don't even know if there is any, but it doesn't really matter. People don't really care about it. I've yet to see anyone say, "Oh, I'm not going to the London Stadium because the halftime entertainment's crap." It just doesn't happen. Number 8, we're getting there. Bear with us if you're watching along. Number 8, we want to know your opinion on all these 10 points as well. So number 8, get closer to the community. The club does excellent work in the local area already, but we want to move even closer to schools and businesses on our doorstep. We can extend our commitment to multi-sports education and healthy living and show there is more to this club than just first-team football. We take our social responsibility very seriously.
I don't know what you can say on this one. The local businesses, firstly, I mean, so thriving and regenerated Stratford. I think a lot of those local businesses are big corporations, sort of multinational corporations, if you like. I'm not sure how much interest, affiliation, or connection they've got with the club. I don't think that's it. In terms of the local community, I mean, I've got to say it's a tad controversial, but by and large, most people moved out years ago. I know there's still some people hanging on in Canning Town and whatnot, but I think you'll find a vast majority of fans actually coming from Essex. Lots in Kent do come in from where I come in from, in Surrey and in Berkshire, but a vast majority live in Essex. I think if you're going to build community ties, rather than start looking immediately on your doorstep, which is basically becoming a high-rise office, load of high-rise office blocks, community work, I think, should be taken out a little bit further out to the schools in Essex and the communities in Essex, because I think that is where you will find the thumping heartbeat of the traditional West Ham fans.
I've got 2 opinions. Number 1, they wrote this when we were Upton Park. So local community, well, you gave 2 fingers to that when you moved and you didn't even bother with not just the businesses, but the stall holders. David Gold is literally in the Iron Man film saying to a stall holder, "Don't worry, we'll look after you." Where is he? But it's not just that, it's also the supporters club as well. They've mugged the supporters club right off. They've literally just gone away and just not even looked back at them and thought, you know what, whatever. Some of I actually find it funny. I actually think the people around about Stratford, including Westfields to an extent, because we've worked with them. We've got our boats, obviously, but even in Westfields, we've worked with Cafe Football. The Bat and Ball wanted to work with us. The casino sponsor this channel now. So actually, some of the big corporations do actually want to reach out to West Ham fans. The Ribman's got his Trumans over at the other side the ground. The supporters club now have, I don't know how you pronounce it, is it Stour Space? So there is people actually wanting the West Ham fans in there. So it's got nothing to do with the club. This is West Ham fans using an initiative and businesses connecting with West Ham fans saying, "We want you in here, we want you in here." And you've got the Smoking Bubbles as well that do a match day thing.
Yes,
West Ham like and Blowing Bubbles magazine, etc. So there is people making an effort. I will give credit though to the foundation. I think the foundation do an excellent job and they don't get the credit they deserve, and that is when it goes to the schools, etc., and a lot of charity work. So I'm actually going to give them a yes from me on this because of the foundation, but a no for the club and the way they've treated local businesses and stuff. I just don't think it exists anymore. I think the club are there on their own in a rented stadium, and that's it. They're sort of naive to what's going on off the island, and the island's quite small. Are you giving this a yes, no, or an unsure? I'm giving it an unsure.
I mean, listen, I don't know. I've what I said was about as unequivocal as I can possibly be. I mean, that's what I said about the local community, and what I can't speak any more plainly than that. That's not sitting on the fence, not speaking in code. I don't know. As far as actually what they're doing, I don't know. You're talking about the foundation. The truth is, I don't know what the foundation's doing. They may well be doing fantastic work. Fantastic. What I do know is there's some bloody good people in that club, and I mean, you know, as much as we're giving the owners stick, there's some really, really good people working that club. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're trying their very best to make things work. They're probably looking through their fingers like this at what's going on at the moment, and desperately trying to sweep up the mess left by a lot of people and left by those above. So I don't know. It's a not sure because I don't know enough about it, but I do mean what I say about I think they should need to reach further out into Essex, into what is now the heartland of West Ham.
Number 9. This is like a default yes, really, which is go for the Olympic Stadium. But just to give you their description for the sake of the show, leaving the bowling ground will be a wrench. But the Olympic Stadium is an amazing once-in-a-lifetime opportunity in a financial and football sense. Our potential partnership with Newham Council promises to take this club to a new level while protecting our history and traditions. To move forward, we have to move, but always with an eye on the past. Now, are you going to give this a default yes? Because the bold bit, which is the title, says go for Olympic Stadium. Or are you going to give this a no because of what the paragraph says about how protecting our history and traditions, you might think they've done that. I don't know. I don't want to put words in your mouth, and it's also about a financial and football sense.
Well, there's something that gets forgotten a lot, and it needs to be brought up more. We were about to buy that stadium. And Leyton Orient and Tottenham went through 4 court cases to stop us from buying it. I think had we bought that stadium, I think we would be in a slightly different venue, I've got to say. And it was forced on us, and it basically kept on court case after court case after court case until they found a judge that would basically not allow us to buy it. It wasn't going to be a burden on the taxpayer. We were going to buy it and own that thing outright. And crikey, Daniel Levy even hired a private investigator, ended up tapping up Karen Brady's phone. They tried to do everything that they possibly could to stop us from going in there. And in the end, they did. And actually, the only show in town was they had to release it back to tender for tenants. That's why we're in the situation that we're in. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that had we bought that stadium, that the owners would have turned it into the Burnabout or anything like that. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is at the time when that list was made, we were about to buy that stadium, I think. So I think things probably turned out very, very differently to how everybody imagined. My own opinion on it has got to be based on that. And I think at the point we couldn't buy it, I don't think we should have moved. At the moment we couldn't buy that stadium and the only availability was to rent, I think we just said, no, that's it. Actually, I think it would have forced a decision. I think it would have called everyone's bluff and they would have actually come to us in the end and said, actually, no, please do buy it. We're going to challenge what Tottenham have said in court and we're going to let you buy it. Because the moment we became tenants, we didn't own our own home, we were scuppered completely.
So what am I putting down here for you?
What was the question?
Yes, no, or unsure, just for what we spoke about.
What about what the state? What is it? Is the stadium moving a success?
Well, have they met their pledge?
Well, no.
I'm going to give them a yes because their pledge was go for the Olympic Stadium. Am I happy with it? No. Do I think it's been a success? No. But have they done their pledge? But saying that, when you read the paragraph about financial and football sense, I'm not seen it yet, and protecting our history and traditions, we changed our badge. So
sure, yeah. No, I don't think they've made their pledge, but I don't think their pledge was based on us renting. But we didn't end up with that. We didn't end up with
the thing with that. I know about that, but the thing with that, there's literally video footage of David Sullivan saying he doesn't want to buy it. So that sort of throws the whole thing up in the air because there's literally video footage of David Sullivan saying they don't want to buy the London.
Well, they're going to have to buy it if we go down to the Championship.
But there's more to come on this. I'm actually going for unsure. I've taught myself. Sorry, I was going to say yes, but I've taught myself out of it because of the paragraph. Number 10, a final point. Listen to supporters. Arguably the most important of all is our commitment to listen to what you have to say. We know we are just the custodians of this club. You who follow us every week, whether near or far, are the true owners. Whether talking to you online or in print or face-to-face at fan forums, we will be open, transparent, and available.
Well, I think they have started speaking to fans, but I think it's taken them long enough. Like you said earlier, if you'd have asked seasons before, you'd have said no. I think the West Ham United and Independent Supporters Association have just been in there 3 weeks ago. I think have just had a meeting. I think dialogue has basically just been open sort of this season. We've been in there ourselves as well, of course.
Did you? Sorry. I know this is separate. Were you able to put any views across for the SAB?
What do you mean?
The SAB is supposed to be fans are allowed to submit their sort of questions for the SAB to take forward to the meeting, right?
Yeah, but I'm not in it.
No, that's not my point. The point is people in it are supposed to be able to collate questions, if you like. were you at any point given the opportunity to pass those questions along to someone?
Sorry, I don't. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not in it. I'm not in a position to be given questions or pass them to anyone. I don't. I wasn't asked for any.
The thing about the SAB is everybody is supposed to be able to say to someone in the SAB, I've got questions, could you please pass these along or whatever. Were you ever given the opportunity to do that?
Well, no one in no one in the Sports Association asked me if I had a question. People don't need to. I'm gobbing off on a fucking video every bloody 3 times a week. Everyone knows my opinion.
I'm not talking about you, Gonzo. I'm talking about you, the West Ham fan, you, the season ticket holder. It's just like everyone that's watching this live, did they get asked?
Well, I guess they would if they were in the Sports Association. I don't really know how it works, to be honest with you. I don't know. How would I know?
It's a small group, isn't it? It's not massive, but
I don't know. Are you saying it's not? Are you saying everyone in that group wasn't given that opportunity to do what was promised? I don't know. I mean, you clearly know far more than I do. I don't know.
What I'm saying is this SAB have gone in, and in the past, I've seen people say, there's a SAB meeting coming up. Anyone got any questions for it? I didn't see it for this one. I didn't see anyone say, Sam, has anyone got any questions or topics you'd like me to bring up? The only people I've seen do it is the West Ham United Independent Supporters Advisory Board. Their own. I mean, we promoted them. There's a blog on our website this morning from them. They were the only people I seen reach out to fans and say, has anyone got questions? We will collate them and take them into the meeting for you. But everyone else in the room didn't do it. I don't even know who went. That's not my business. But the point is, it's supposed to be about making themselves available. But how are they available if their contact group isn't available?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly don't know, mate. I mean, in many respects, as we're doing a Q&A here and you're going through the points, we're almost asking the wrong person. We run a forum. We get everyone's opinions every day on everything pertaining to West Ham. We know a lot. I mean, if someone wants to ask our opinion, which they did, we'd tell them what the people on our forum think. But in terms of putting a piece forward to a supporters advisory board, not really. It's not really involved in that. Do you know what I mean? But that does, I mean, all power to them. I mean, I think we should have more of it and more of them because, as I say, I'm gobbing off on a video all the time. I wrote a blog a couple of days ago. Everyone knows my opinion. People necessarily would try and do your shout and get people to give us opinions. We got the forum, but the fans' opinions are the most important thing. So actually, it's not for people like me or people like you. It's actually people who, as you say, have got a season ticket and they want to have their say. So they need to be able to get their opinions forward and to the club to get their voice heard.
So what are you giving me for their pledge? Listen to the supporters. See, you're different. I can tell you're different because we obviously had the bloggers meeting, so it's a bit different for you. But I'm removing that. I'm removing that because not every season ticket holder got invited to the bloggers meeting. So I'm speaking here.
No, absolutely. So it means what has happened at these SAB meetings. I just don't know. If nothing's happened, you'd have to have someone else to answer. You're trying to pin me down to an answer. I don't know. I've not been any part.
Are you unsure?
I am very unsure. Yeah, I don't know what's happened at these meetings. I haven't even read the minutes, Gio, of the meetings. I don't know.
I'm a no because I don't feel everybody is watching this, etc. I don't feel they've had the chance to have their voice heard. It says listen to the supporters. I don't think they do. I don't think they give a shit. The only time they listen to supporters is when it suits them. So for 8 years, like you said, there is these meetings now, but we're now coming up to their 8-year anniversary and they've only just started it. This is what they said in 2010. It's not been happening since 2010. So it's no for me. Bollocks to that. Would you like to know your results?
Oh, I think I know my results, don't I?
What do you think your results are?
Well, 7 or 8. 7 or 8, not very good ones as far as the club's concerned, isn't it?
You said 5 for no, 4 for unsure, and 1 for yes.
There you go. Yeah.
I said 3 for unsure and 7 for no. But out of the 20 answers, there's just 1 yes.
What was that on?
I can't remember. Whatever you said yes to. I think the academy.
There you go. Yeah.
You said yes to the academy, and I said unsure because I don't think we've seen the results. So out of the 20 answers between us, but you guys at home, let us know what you think. I've gone through the pledges. Hopefully, you've remembered them. And put your comments in below how much you get. Let's talk about some non-board stuff now, shall we? And then we'll start taking questions from people at the end if we've got time and you wish to do that and they wish to give us some. Have you seen Twitter tonight? Michael Antonio decided to like a tweet.
No.
Had the picture of a back page of the paper and it said shambles on a David Moyes. Michael Antonio's decided to like that tweet.
Oh, crikey, what is it with these players?
The PR machine continues to be in free fall.
Bonner liked a tweet he shouldn't have done a couple of weeks ago, didn't he? Crikey,
and then he blamed his baby.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, yeah, they're very good. They learn young these days, the kids. Was it Antonio's baby?
Well, it must have been. I'm sure he's going to blame someone. It
Oh,
won't be.
I don't. You know, crikey, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
It's just happened in the last couple of hours.
Oh, dearie me. You know, crikey, I'm done. You know, talk about.
One thing I want to say actually before we move on to the next one. Today, did you see the protest today that a fan had these banner outside David Sullivan's house?
I did.
And then it came out that he had been banned.
Yeah, he hasn't.
Yeah, it turns out he hasn't been banned. Jack Sullivan phoned him personally just to make sure that he hadn't been banned. His priority points haven't been revoked, etc. And everything's...
Yeah, well, actually, he was actually phoned this afternoon. Someone from the club phoned in this afternoon. He wasn't banned. He was asked if he wanted to have a refund on his ticket, and he was told that Jack would phone him later on this evening. So yeah, it was never banned at any point actually. So yeah, there you go.
Well, it depends what you hear. Obviously, the guy said he'd been banned, so I'm going to take the fans thing as well. But I know that since then it's been cleared up, and it's both parties are saying that Jack has phoned him personally to make sure everything's okay, etc. And to be fair, it goes back to listen to the fans. Or at least Jack's actually done something, and it's not his responsibility to go phoning a fan personally to make sure everything's okay. But fair play to him. I'll give him respect for that. Chekia, his agent, been piping up about how he played for Senegal, and now loads of big clubs want him.
Well, they probably don't. I can't imagine any big clubs would want him. I imagine they probably had to scout him recently, wouldn't they? So I can't imagine that would. Can't see that. He's not exactly been in the best of form, has he?
Well, I was just thinking if there's a club that does want him, I hope they actually put in a bid for him. To be honest with you, I've never been his biggest fan, but lately he's just been pissing me off more and more. Tonight has come out. I don't know where the source is. I had a very quick look because I only just seen it before we went live, and that was that we've got a £30 million budget for January. Now, I don't know the source on this. I don't know who it is or so. I don't know if it's legit, but 30 million's been banded about. What's your thoughts on that? Is that enough?
No. I said the other day I didn't think 25 million would touch the sides. I don't think 30 million. Well, we're woefully lacking in pace and technical ability in the team. So 30 million's not gonna give us that. That's for sure.
If you add it to the summer, it'll give you 45 million net spend. The problem is that's what we were expecting to be spent in the summer alone. Never mind January. 30 million, it gets you one good player. I don't even know if it'll get you William Cavallo, who's supposed to be our top target for January. It's not even going to get you him. I guess we'll have to wait and see. There's still a month and a bit. I'd imagine we lose quite a bit between now and then. I'd imagine that budget gets doubled, and it has to get doubled at least. But we'll speak about transfers more. Question time. Get your questions in if you do have any for myself and Gonzo. I'll start noting them down while we discuss our last topic. Low allocations. So we've always taken for quite a while. We'll be selling out away ends, and then for the Everton one, fair enough, it's a midweek game. But Man City, they took 1,000. I think it's about 1,600 tickets from 3,000. Were sold out to 13 points, 13 priority points. It sold out to, and the club didn't take any more, etc. They've taken a lower initial. The club have put in the word initial this time. For City, they didn't put their allocation on the website. They hid it. For Stoke, they said their initial allocation is lower than, it's about 800 tickets less than what Liverpool had. Do you think this is because of all the chanting at Wembley? The board are sort of smacking our bums a little bit and saying, well, if you're going to sing those things, we're just going to reduce your allocation or lessen the voice, if you like.
I don't know. I'm fucking sick of hearing it all, to be honest with you. I'm just getting so tired of all so fucking political. Excuse me, what I'm doing? So political, all this stuff now. Fine details of it. It's so gone so far away from supporting a football team. It's unbelievable, actually. I don't know. I would hope not. I would think not. Are the club controlling how many away tickets we get? You'd hope not.
Well, yeah, they are. They obviously are, because it's up to them how much they take out of a certain allocation. They're taking lower ones.
Are they doing it as a punishment? Crikey, we'd hope not, wouldn't we? I don't know. Who knows? Do you know what? I think there's so many things to be crikey, it's just another. I didn't even know. There's so much to be disappointed and depressed about. Just more and more, more and more stuff coming up, isn't there?
Yeah, there's not much positive stuff to talk about. Gary says, would you take a loss next weekend or Friday night if we played the kids?
I wouldn't take. I just can't. Don't think we can afford one more loss. I think we should play the kids anyway. Someone put out a team on Twitter earlier, and it was good. I could really appreciate what they were suggesting. But I looked at the team, and whilst it did have some young players, I think Martinez was in it and Rice was in it, and there was a few others with a mixture. I think Aya was back. I still looked at the team and thought, actually, if Mahrez is on song and Vardy is as quick and whip it like as he normally is, I think we'd just struggle against Leicester anyway. They are a decent enough team. Damari Gray looks a really, really good player as well. They seem to have a lot of pace, which is something we lack. The answer to the question, no, I would not take a loss at any point at all. I don't think we can afford one more. But having said that, Gary, that doesn't mean to say that I think if we play those same senior players that we're necessarily guaranteed a win. I don't. I would play some youngsters actually, and I would mix them in, but I don't think we wouldn't take the loss.
I can only echo what you said. I wouldn't take a loss, but I don't think playing the seniors guarantees you to avoid a defeat either against Leicester on Friday. It's worrying times. Yasmin says, if we did get Cavallo in the summer, would we be in the situation we are now?
It depends how good a player he is, Jasmine. I don't know. I wasn't convinced by him. He looks really good quality on the ball. He seems to have good interceptions. I don't think he's as mobile as we need in the centre of the park. So what I do think is if we'd have had somebody who maybe I think is better suited and spent 30-40 million on the midfield, I think we'd be in this trouble. Probably not. No, I do think midfield is a big area of concern from us. Having said that, I'm sure Carvalho would have performed a lot better than a lot of the players in our midfield have done in a lot of games this season.
I think our centre midfield is the biggest area that needs upgrading now. The strikers have been upgraded, the right back's been sorted, the left winger Arnautovic hasn't hit the ground running, although I thought he played well-ish against Watford. It's all about centre midfield now. I mean, we had 3 centre midfielders in there and they couldn't string a bloody pass between them, and we got overrun against a decent side. But they had Will Hughes and Tom Cleverley in there. They're not top 6 quality, those two. I'll leave Decore out there. He could arguably fit into the top 6, but the other two are not top 6 quality. Tom Cleverley actually failed in the top 6, if you like. So would Cavallo made a difference? Yes. Would we be sitting in the top half? No. I think the problems run a lot deeper than that, and it's not about ability. It's about fucking effort and attitude, really, and you can't buy that. That's something that's free. That's something that's in the players. Vinny says, will he play the kids?
That's a really good question, Vinny. I don't know, which I've said a lot on this show. But I do know something. It sort of leads on to another question, Vinny. Will he have noticed how bad Andy Carroll was, for instance? Now, coming into the club, I think you can certainly buy into a little bit of hype. People outside of Andy Carroll's a really good player, We see him play week in, week out. The national press don't know West Ham like we know West Ham. I wonder if David Moyes bought into that hype and he thought, you know what, I'm going to go to West Ham, I'm going to get Andy Carroll playing. I just wonder if he's looked at Andy Carroll. He seemed desperate to get himself sent off, by the way. I wonder if he looked at Andy Carroll and has now thought, actually, he's not going to be able to do a job for me. I need to do something else, which would lead into bringing in and being brave enough to bring in some of the young players, which you were basically alluding to. I do find with managers, we had it with Sam, Big Sam and Kevin Nolan, that managers automatically get their favourites after a period of time. I want to see change from Moyes, okay? And I've not gone at him once for any reason, but I don't want to see a manager at the very start of his tenure start having favourites who are undroppable straight away. You don't perform, you get a chance, you get out, and he's not got a chance to give someone 5 games game run. So we're going to find out. I don't know if he's brave enough. We're going to find out soon, and we need to find out in the very next game.
I'll speak about Carroll because there was a question about Carroll, but you've kind of sort of half answered that, and that is he becoming a liability? You're also a yes now, and I'm going to say yes as well. I think last season he was crucial. I've been a big Andy Carroll fan actually since he's come. I thought last season he was fantastic when he was fit. In the middle third of that season when we picked up the majority of our points, I thought he was brilliant. I'm not sure we'd have avoided relegation without him. this season he's been horrendous. I don't know. His jumping doesn't seem to be as good. He's not as effective in the air as he should be. He's elbowing people a lot more than he used to. There's just something going on with him. Is he a liability? Yes. And even although I've stuck up for him a lot of times, even when he does get injured, I've always stuck up for him. Even I can't stick up for him anymore. I'm sort of thinking, well, there's something funny going on with Andy Carroll. As for will he play the kids? Moyes is in the same situation that Bilic is already, and that is the pressure's on. Can you turn to the kids when the pressure's on? It's going to take a bit of bollocks. He had a chance on Sunday, against Watford. We were getting beat. He had Martinez on the bench. He had a chance to get Martinez on the pitch, and he didn't do it. He had the chance, a 2-0 down. No West Ham fan would have criticised him if he hauled someone off and put Martinez on him and him and Saka off on. In fact, he would have got praised for it. Right? He didn't do it. He kept Martinez, and I thought, if there's ever a chance to get him on, it's now. When you're 1 or 2-0 down, you're needing a goal. He's the only striker on the bench because Saka's already on the pitch. He's the only striker left. You don't even have an attacking player on. Fernandes may be, but you don't have like a winger or that. Arnautovic was down injured. I thought, get Martinez. This is your chance. You've got a forced injury. Every excuse David Moyes could possibly want for putting Martinez on was in his hands. He had an injured player, so there was a forced sub. He was 1-0 down at the time, I think, maybe 2-0. He was the only attacking player on the bench, but he didn't do it. And I just think, oh, Dave, mate, that was your opportunity. But I'm not going to judge him yet. I'm not going to criticise him for not putting Martinez on, but time will tell. Mark is saying, how does this end with Gold and Sullivan?
Well, okay. Now here's the thing. How long have you got? I thought something today. I was writing something on the forum, and it was about us going down. And my general line of thought is that we can't go down because Upton Park was a fearsome place that was nasty to go, that the teams, even in the Championship, or the old Division 2, as you would call it, never liked going there. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't nice. The changing rooms weren't modern or anything like that. They didn't go there. Okay. My theory was that actually if we go down to the Championships, then actually all those guys that are down in there, your Derbies and your whoever, would actually turn up at London Stadium and it'd be like a 5-star spa. And I think, hello, look at all these hot tubs, look at these lovely showers, look how much room we've got. It would almost be like a day out at a plush hotel for them. They wouldn't be intimidated, they'd actually enjoy it. So I thought, actually, if we go down to Championship, then we're buggered, really. And then I started thinking about the normal excuses that are churned out when a team goes down. So what people will say is, hold on, we can't go down. People are going to lose their jobs. The tea lady's going to lose her job. Half of the ground staff will be made to let go. I thought to myself, hold on. No. The tea lady doesn't lose her job because she works for the London Stadium. The groundsman doesn't lose his job because he works for the London Stadium. Everybody works for London Stadium. The electricity bills are paid for by the London Stadium. Our outlay, and even the £2.5 million that we pay each year goes down to, I think it's 1.2 million. Very affordable in the Championship when you've got parachute payments, okay? What happens to Gold and Sullivan? So my initial thought was, Mark, that actually if we do go down, it will be untenable for them. They'd be forced to leave. I don't think so at all. I think in many respects, if we go down, they're in a brilliant financial position as far as the club is concerned. Now, don't get me wrong, they prefer to stay up because it's more money. It's not their business plan. But I think West Ham and Gold and Sullivan wouldn't lose much money, actually. I think they'd sell Antonio. They'd probably sell Lanzini. They'd probably get 80 million for the two of them or something like that, okay? If that happens, the money's there. Actually, the people that are losing money is the London Stadium. I think the London Stadium, which is already running, I think an £8 million loss last season, would make such a loss because we have tucked them up so much with that deal that actually, I think the Mayor's Office, LLDC, whoever's running anything at the time, would actually be forced to give the stadium to West Ham because the losses to the taxpayer would be so huge. Now, I'm not saying it's a conspiracy theory and that's what they want secretly to get us relegated. That can happen, but I do think that's a real possibility. So what's the future hold for Gold and Sullivan? I don't know, but it's not as bad as we all think if we go down because they may well end up owning the stadium, which will allow them to sell at the healthy profit, which obviously they'll want to get.
I'm the opposite of that. I don't agree with that. If they did own the stadium, they then incur the 8 million. They then incur all the staff, etc. And then the staff will end up losing, all the contracts will end up getting torn up, etc. And they'll be employed. So I don't agree with that. And I think their investment, the value of the club goes down. As for the question, what's the end in terms of the protests and that? I think in January they've got to dig deep and they've got to show that they are serious about this football club. It's already past fragile, but come January they have to. 30 million will not cut it with this fans anymore. 30 million is not enough. They need to double that, and they need to show they're serious in January and go and get 2 or 3 quality players, and not just stay up, but try and get us into the top half of the table. We're not that far off it. It's not like we're a lost cause. However, this brings us on to my next question, which is from Daz. Says, if we're bottom at Christmas, what do we do?
I don't know. Keep going to the games, Des. There's nothing we can do. We're not in positions of power. We're not a German club where 51% is owned by the fans. There's nothing anyone can do. Nothing.
I think he means the club.
If we're bottom at Christmas,
yeah.
Well, they've got to go out and spend some money. I say a lot of things. You've got to do everything from a position of strength. The time to buy was when your stock was high. The stock was high in the summer. We could have bought in the summer. It was fine. We weren't. Like David Moyes, probably about the best manager we were going to attract just recently, because we were down near the bottom of the league. There's a toxic atmosphere around the club. There's question marks over the ownership. That's as good as we were going to get. If we are bottom of the league at Christmas, do not expect any top players to be coming and signing for us. They just won't. I think last season, January, we got Snodgrass and Font. I think you could expect something pretty similar to that. Top players are not going to come and sign for us. Geo said £30 million gets you a good player. I'll tell you what, good luck spending £30 million if you're bottom of the league on one player. I just don't think they'll come, because the truth of the matter is, as good as and wonderful as we think our historic claret and blue club is, as festooned in the history of Bobby Moore and Jeff Hurst, I'll tell you now, a £30 million player will look at us at the bottom of the league and rather go with Stoke. And that's the truth of the matter, because that's where we find ourselves.
We might end up with Tony Pulis. You never know. We might get Tony Pulis, might get that chap.
That's the trick, don't we?
I'm actually glad we got Moyes now, since he got sacked. I'm bloody glad we got Moyes and we didn't sack Village this weekend, because we know fine who would have ended up here. And I'd much rather have David Moyes and Tony Pulis, that's for sure. What happens at Christmas if we're bottom? I think we just pray. I think it's too late now. I think we're tied into Moyes till the end of the season. January, you just have to dig deep and hope that you can go out there. To be honest, in January, if we were bottom at Christmas, I'd be going into the championship and I'd be finding the 3 best players in the championship and going, I'm having him, and they'll fight. They'll come in and scrap, because they don't want to go back to the championship. They want to stay in the Premier League. They finally got the chance to get in the Premier League. They want to stay there. They don't want to go back down. I would go into that championship and I would get 3 people who will graft, 3 people that will fight. Martin Noble spoke about how having under 23s raised the intensity of training. Go get 3 people that will wear their heart on the sleeve in the championship, and then we'll see intensity and attitude and effort go up in a game. That's where I would go. It worked with Antonio. It worked with Creswell. You can argue if it's still working. It worked initially, and that's where I would go. There's talent down there, but it won't be cheap. And they're the type of players I think would maybe look at us, even at the bottom, and think, you know what, I'm going to go there because I believe my ability, I believe in that club, and we'll stay up, etc. Stuart, this leads us on to Stuart's question. Who would you go for in January? Let's just say we're 17th, so we're not away from relegation, but we're not at bottom, and you do have 30 million.
Well, I was unprepared. I was unprepared for the 10 questions. I was unprepared for the Antonio tweet, and I'm unprepared for that. Who would we buy? I'll tell you what. I'd probably have a little go if we could. I'd probably have a little go for Ross Barkley. I think we need a bit of. I think he's not slow. I think he's not lightning either, but he's pacey enough. When he gets running, he's such a big boy. He can't shift off the ball, and he's got the quality to retain the ball. I think he's got a good long shot on him, and I think he can create chances. That's off the top of my head without any thought. I think that's somebody that I would go for. But I do also think that. I didn't say this. I haven't said this anywhere. Kiate found himself popping up in 2 positions. It could have all been very different. I'm not saying we were good, but he was forced to play 3 defensive midfielders. I think if I would have been playing in that Kiate position, I think we might be sat here today very, very differently. So I'd be interested. I just want to see who Moyes. I think we might see a little bit more creativity from the midfield from Moyes. I think he has to do it. But on that, if he was going to do that and build a system, drop Carroll, get IU more involved, and I think I'd certainly go with Ross Barkley. But I do think we need a bit of pace somewhere.
I agree with Barkley, and I'll say Jack Wilshere as well. Two players who've only got 6 months left on their current deal. They won't be top whack. I would Fellaini, as long as it's not a long term. I don't want him getting a 3-year deal because he's 30 years old in January. But if he was to come on till the end of the season or even on an 18-month thing, fine. But long term, not for me. But it's a centre midfield that needs plugged as well. I think the centre of the park is the area that needs fixing. Something needs fixed in there. In terms of defensive midfield, I'm not sure who you could go get. That's not going to cost top whack. I mean, William Carvalho, maybe he'll work, but he's going to take up all your budget, isn't he? You're not going to get anyone else. I tell you what, it's going to be Fellaini that comes in to go into that centre midfield. We know. I think we can all envisage. We can all see Fellaini rocking up at the London Stadium in January, regardless of where we are in the league. I think the only question is the price tag. Is he free, like reports are saying? Will he come on loan, just get him off the wage bill at Old Trafford? Or will we have to stump up a fee for him? I think that's the only question. Now, last question we're going to take, but before we get onto that, it's a good one. I'll be saving the best for last. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like on it and let us know your thoughts below on the protests, etc. about the board, and also the 10-point pledge that me and Gonzo ran through. What is your thoughts on it all? And who would you like to see coming in January? Let us know. Of course, subscribe to the channel. If you're new, it'll come up on your screen in a second. You'll have the subscribe button, so just click on that. And you'll also have our talk review game from the weekend where me and Tom discussed the action from Vicarage Road. But the last question, Gonzo, is from Mike. He says, when was the last time you enjoyed being a West Ham fan?
I enjoy being a West Ham fan every game, to be fair, Mike. I really do.
Okay, can I just butt in? Why did you enjoy being a West Ham fan? Because of West Ham. Because I know why you enjoy it, and I enjoy it for the same reasons as you. That's not because of West Ham. So, why did you last enjoy being a West Ham fan? Because of West Ham.
Yeah, well, it's got to be the same as everyone else. It's got to be the last season, isn't it? You know, at the Bowling, really. Oh, it's wonderful. What a wonderful place it seems. And it's easy to look back with nostalgia and think, oh, I'm just looking back on that because it was nostalgic. Like you might look back at an old holiday or something like that. But actually, it wasn't just nostalgia. I used to look forward to going to Upton Park when I was on my way to Upton Park. I used to appreciate when I was there. A lot of time of nostalgia you appreciate afterwards. I definitely appreciate there. I definitely appreciated walking down green streets and the sound and the smells and you know, scarf sellers and badge sellers and cheap burgers and that was all sort of synonymous with the day out at football. And it's not just nostalgia. I was excited on the day. And what I used to love, this before music came in, by the way, before music came in at grounds. I fucking hate music at grounds, okay? When the atmosphere used to build up naturally. Now they try and build the atmosphere up for you with music over the tannoy. But as more people got into the ground would gradually get louder and louder and louder up until that point where the team would walk out and there was just this cacophony of noise. Wonderful. Last season at Upton Park, Mike, that was the last time I probably enjoyed it, mate.
I'm more recent than that, but it's in short spells. When we beat Spurs at Wembley, although I wasn't there, I loved being a West Ham fan because of West Ham that night. When we beat Spurs last season at London Stadium, when we beat Chelsea, when we beat Crystal Palace, and we saw Andy Carroll do his bicycle kick, when Dimitri Payet did that solo run at the London Stadium. But the problem is these are short-lived moments that sort of last a few days at the most because the next game comes along and it comes back to hiding again usually. But for a long-term thing, obviously it has to be the last season at Upton Park, but there has been some moments, very few, but there has been some moments since then that they're one-offs, though. They're one-offs. But we've got a long way to go. David Moyes has got a big job on his hands. But this protest with the board thing is... Friday night's going to be interesting, would you say?
Friday night could be very interesting, yeah, to use a mild choice of word. Everyone's going to have to tread very, very carefully on Friday. I've got to say that there's going to be people walking in there with flags and things like that, and I just hope everyone's sensible. I hope no overly officious steward goes and grabs a flag, or because it would just all sort of kick off and tumble from this. I just hope everyone's sort of sensible. Everyone can calm down. Most of all, what Moyes said about it was difficult for the players and and that when the crowd are being like that. He also needs to realise that it's a two-way street. Jim White did a horrendous show on TalkSport today, by the way. I know we haven't got time to go in for it. Too much blame was laid at Alf. I can't stand.
Don't promote him. He was just
disgrace, right? Anyway, I would also say that that there's some responsibility on the other side, and if what we want is a harmonious stadium, we want send out a team that's a little bit attacking, that's a little bit exciting, and that goes for it. Don't hold out. Don't play for the draw. Go for it. It wasn't. People didn't walk in that ground sour. It did turn sour quickly, but that's because the performance turned sour quickly. Okay, give us the initial first 5-minute burst and get something for the crowd to get behind. Make them forget about all this board stuff and forget about all that. Give them a couple of attacks, a shot cannons off the post, and someone follows it in, and a few oohs and ahs in a corner, followed by another corner, followed by another corner. Attack them, go for it, and watch the atmosphere in that stadium change. That's what I said to David Moyes. The atmosphere in that stadium is in your hands. No, you probably didn't sign up for this. It's a bigger job than you thought it initially was, but get it going. Send that team out, and Friday night could be very, very different to how you would imagine it. If it goes the other way, it's going to be nasty in there.
The thing is, so on Sunday, they were singing before the game. They were singing Bored Out before the game and stuff. So it wasn't to do with the performance as such. The performance didn't help. But the thing is, if he thinks that's bad, wait until Friday night. If you start getting beat, then you'll think, holy bloody hell, this lot, like, it can get bad at that whole place. But the thing is, he should be saying to his players, listen to the passion from that away fans. Ignore what they're saying. Ignore the fact that they're chanting for your employers to leave the club. Listen to the passion. Listen to how much they care. Listen to the love and how much they give a shit, and use that to drive and motivate yourself. If the players gave as much of a shit as that away fans did on Sunday, we would have won that game. No doubt about it. We would have won that game. So it's all very well for David Moyes to say, oh, it doesn't help the team and stuff. But it depends how you interpret it, because if you interpret it as they're slagging the club off, of course it's not going to help. How about you interpret it as a set of fans that give a shit, a set of fans that have spent a lot of money, and a set of fans that care? Then to me, you can use that as motivation if you like. You should be
the "you're not fit to wear the shirt" came very much later, and I think Moyes, I actually think as fans, actually everyone's been very well balanced. I think they've separated. I've hardly seen anything. Hardly a single. I saw one Moyes out thing, right? One. And even when that popped up, everyone was saying that'd be ridiculous. We just had one game. I think as fans, we've been very, very balanced. We've allowed Moyes to go to it, and those protests and demonstrations that you spoke of are very much aimed away from him. So I don't think he gets any blame. So actually, he's got a little bit of a free pass at the moment. So I probably wouldn't comment on the fans too much if I was him. I would.
He did get a free pass on Sunday, because if we really wanted to, there was some tactical things that he did wrong, i.e. substitutions. If we really wanted to get into David Moyes, we could, but he's got off with it because of the way in, because of the lack of effort from the players. Like you said, he gave David Moyes a free pass. He needs to use that free pass wisely, because he should also see what Andy Carroll got, because Andy Carroll called out the fans, and he can see and hear what happened to Andy Carroll on Sunday, and he needs to just sort of remember that a little bit. And the reason that the fans always had Bilic's back is because Bilic always respected that crowd. Never once did Bilic say anything. Even when we booed the team, Bilic always said they've got a right to boo the team. They're not happy with it. I'm not happy with it. Players shouldn't be happy with it. And that's why the fans took to Bilic very quickly. And even though we want them gone, nobody ever turned vicious on Bilic, because they thought, actually, he's a decent man, etc. And if you treat, I was trying to explain to like a non-football fan today, actually, he doesn't even like football. I just said to him, you treat the West Ham fans with respect and put in effort, they'll love you for it. We don't ask for football ability. We ask for effort and respect. You give that, you'll get it back. As soon as you turn on us, though, what else you can expect? But anyway, Gonzo, is there anything else? We've been on here for quite a while now.
No. I've got the snivels. I'm going to bed.
Well, I'll let you go to bed. But anyway, thank you very much for joining us. Drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, drop your comments in the section below. We'll be back with our Leicester preview on Wednesday night. So join us on Wednesday night for our Leicester preview, and we'll be speaking purely about the game. But we might have another couple of videos out, and hopefully one on Thursday for you. Don't go anywhere, and we'll catch you in a bit.